Yes, sir. All the hair has been chopped off, bro. Joe Zoki very needed it. See this, got all the hair chopped, whatever. Well, nice and nice and short now. I don't got annoying hair going all over the place, but bro, Joe Zoki been a minute since the last trade recap. I was looking at my stuff in the last recap I had. It was literally like what? Like my hair was so long in that video. But yeah, I look needed that. It was way too long, and I had like all that stuff just when I wash my hair, whatever. Real annoying once you like have it dripping down your neck. But anyways, yeah, haven't done a trade recap uh, since a minute, bro. To be honest, and, I've been here though, but I was kind of on a low losing streak, and yeah, it was just one of those streaks. Just happens, bro. But yeah, it was like break even, had loss, break even. Yeah, just pretty much, and then the one loss, that I had the trade recap before. But yeah, and in that one trade that I took, the one loss that I took, um, I had like my stop loss and TP set up and all that, and then my stop loss got obliterated. Super nice, right? And then I ended up losing more than I should have. Like I had my stop loss set up to lose like two, and I lost like 560. I was so tight. I didn't do a trade recap. I was so tight because I was like, okay, that's not even how much I risked. Like, if you're gonna make me lose that much for whatever, whatever. But anyways, just kind of those things that happen. But anyways, yeah, now we're back to here. See, the time flies by, bro. It's April 8th now. But anyways, yeah, we got this trade that we had today, and I actually posted a little mini recap on my Instagram. But we gotta get the actual video in here, and you just had Trump speaking today, 6:45 p.m. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so that was later, but you know that didn't really affect us in the morning because that was 6:45 p.m. Whatever, and then yeah. So now to get into this trade recap, could start a little bit higher time frame, just develop the bias real quick. Now on the higher time frame, right? Let's go to like the 4 hour. Zoom this in a little bit. It's a little hard to do without the stuff, but anyways, so so yeah, this is what we were in for on the higher time frames. It was pretty pretty easy today to develop the bias. We had on the 1 hour we could see, right. We had, if we could remove this real quick, okay, that way it's not really in the way. But on the 1 hour we had here in the morning, we had this imbalance marked out right here, the 1 hour, and the price retraced back into this pretty early too, just on time, and retraced back into this imbalance, and then after obviously we dumped, we went shorts in somewhere in this region. But yeah, we had this imbalance right here, and we had let me see, go down to 50-minute, right? So here we could see we have the area right here. We have marked out. Okay, what the heck? We had this area marked out, and right here, right, we see we have our little retracement. Same thing on the 1 hour, just the retracement before had a low dump back down to these points of liquidity after before having this pump up. Now, anyways, right. So in the morning, we were looking at this. And we said, okay, we have that 1 hour imbalance that's looking to get filled. And now on the 15-minute, we have this area of liquidity that was resting here, and then we had 15-minute take out these highs over here, and then we had price dump a little bit, right? And Zeus, Zeus, no, God, Bro going crazy over there, my dog. Anyways, on the 15 minute, yeah, we had price take out these highs, and then we had this uh, reverse quantity. We go from the uptrend to downtrend, and then we have a retracement into this order block, and then on the 5 minute, we could see this pretty much as well. Right here, we have on this retracement, that was from the 15 minute, we have this right here. We have our price, come back down here. We had a little reverse. That's exactly what we want to have before we look to short, right? Well, at least in this case, because we have our daily bias as bearish so far, right? So far, our daily bias is bearish. So what are we looking to find? We want to look for some type of retracement up. That way, we can catch the top of the uptrend and maximize, our movement. Now, obviously, I didn't maximize this. I was a little bit late. Yeah, I had like a quiz first period, and then I'm not gonna lie, I low-key went to the bathroom like in second period, which was like 9:20, and I came back like 9:30 ish back. So, yeah, so not even gonna cap. I was lucky taking a dookie. But anyways, yeah, then we had price right here. Like I said, we want to get our price to come back up, retrace, okay? That way we can have our ideal entries, right? We have this order block right here on the 5 minute, and then we have this disrespect of these 5 minute, what's this called? Imbalance, right? And then right here, turns inverse, and then right here we respect the inverse and dump down, right? So now, let me try to delete this real quick just because I don't need all this stuff. Now, right, price dumps down after this, and then this is 9:30 right here. So, like I said, I was looking just coming back in the bathroom. So, we could have caught the retracement into this order block to get into this trade. Would have been good, would have been better, yeah. But, yeah, gotta work with it. Gotta work with it. I had to use the bathroom. So yeah. But anyways. Yeah, now we had this retracement right here. So what I was looking for, right, we saw we had our bearish movements on the higher time frames, on the 1 hour and the 15 minute and the 5 minute, and well, we haven't gotten that to the 1 minute yet, but yeah, we also had it moving on the 4 hour, right? We also had it moving pretty bearish on the 4 hour as well. And so now on the 5 minute, right, we have our entry we want to look for. Because like I said, we have our 4, 1, 15 minute, 5 minute, right? So this 5 minute play is lining up pretty much with our 15 minute play as a retracement. So this retracement on the 15 minute happens to be our one of our execution points on the 5 minutes, right? Now, on our retracement, right, we're going to retrace back into an imbalance right here, right, which was where we picked our entry for our 1 minute time frame. So price here, dump down. What we're going to do, we're going to wait for a better entry, right, because I was late to it, right? And obviously, I still had more in for this trade right here. We aimed for some, there we go. We aimed for some 15-minute liquidity, and we weren't even close to that yet, right? So we could, get a little movement in there. And plus, we weren't too late. We were still fairly close to our order block on the 5 minute. So what I was looking for, to pick out an entry was at one of these two imbalances. I think I could probably move this again for now, just because you already know what time that this was at, right? So, right, we have this imbalance right here. We have this imbalance, and we have this imbalance. So now I'm thinking, okay, so where do I think price is going to go with these two imbalances? Because I have this imbalance and this imbalance, right? So I'm looking for an entry on one of these two imbalances as my late entry. But the thing is, if I enter off this imbalance, how do I know price won't go back up to this imbalance, right? Or how do I know if I'm waiting for this imbalance that it will ever even go up there? So what I'm trying to say is there's a way that I look into this in order to find what is the most probable and most ideal entry, right? So if we look into this, right, we have imbalance 1 right here, and then imbalance 2. We're going to call this one imbalance 2. down here. Now, if you scale, right, to the 15-minute time frame and look at this exact area that I have marked out right here. Okay, there's no imbalance in the 15-minute, right? This is not an imbalance on the 15-minute. However, if you go down to the 5-minute, right, and have these two marked out, like I said, and then you scale down to another time frame, and you look at those exact same areas that you have marked out as an imbalance, and then you look for those, right? Okay, this is imbalance 1, right? Imbalance 1. Or no, this is imbalance 1, I mean. This is imbalance 1, and this is imbalance 2. So, in here, I see we have this 1-minute imbalance, and then up here, in imbalance 1, we have these two imbalances that are kind of crossing in and out, right? Both of them, right? So these ones we could have marked out. I don't really feel like marking them out, so I'm not marking it out, right? And you mark these out, and then you look for price. Where is it drawing to during those retracements back into these imbalances, right? And in this retracement, we see that price came back into this 1-minute fair value gap, disrespected it, right? So, but we still got all this space for the 5-minute imbalance. You like chillax. The higher time frames have higher power. You know what I'm saying? So, respected this 5-minute imbalance fairly well. Right at the top we wicked out of it a little bit, but we came all the way back down, disrespected upside movement completely, and then right here we had our 1-minute imbalance that was disrespected before. We had our price come back down, start kind of moving around just for a few minutes in there, in and out, pause, and then finally we had our close. So this was move this right here. If I can move this one more back. Okay, it's not letting me move it. The position. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so then we had right here, price closed right below this 1-minute imbalance that we originally said was, oh no, it was disrespected. No, we still had to work right with the higher time frame. We had the 1-minute imbalance plus the 5-minute imbalance, both in each other, and they were working together to maximize our entry. Because I wasn't looking like, okay, good, if this was the 5-minute, right, and we closed where? Right here, and we said, okay, nice. Now I'm still in the imbalance, right? Yeah, but you want to close below your imbalance, so that way you okay, respected. So I respected this 1-minute imbalance right here, and that was where I entered my trade off of. See right here, we closed right below this imbalance. I didn't enter in these, not yet. I entered as soon as we closed below it, as soon as we had this candle close below our imbalance. Yes, I could have got a better entry, right? Okay, yeah, I could have got 2.52 risk to reward, changed to what, like a 3.6 of maybe 4, right? Anywhere in this area, in this imbalance, honestly. But the thing is, you don't want to be greedy and have that mess up all of your bias that you all the time you just put into this, looking at the different time frames, developing your bias. Don't let greed be the thing that messes up all your work, and then that's gonna keep you from becoming profitable. If you spent your time developing your bias, you better make sure that you execute it well, because there's no reason, if you know what you are looking for and you find it, there shouldn't be no reason why you should be greedy about it. Because the only reason you would be greedy about it is because you don't trust yourself, because you want to look at the numbers grow instead of you grow. You need to actually know what you're doing when you're looking at the charts, and make sure you do it right. Because yeah, okay, 2.52 risk to reward. Oh, but I could have had like a 4. Okay, and what? And what? Would you rather have a 4 risk to reward and then have your stop loss obliterated? Or would you rather have a 2.52 risk to reward and have it hit TP? Because maybe, right? I entered in here, and then, yeah, all goes good. Maybe I could have entered here, and I lost. And then what? Could have avoided that completely, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. You gotta, make sure you enter when you're supposed to enter and follow that. Because, right, see, I entered off of here, and then that was my sign. Like, as soon as I saw that, that was my sign. Said, okay, we're getting into this position. Had our stops set right above, well, actually, not right above, a little bit more above, just a little bit of wiggle room just for this type of stuff right here because, price tends to like, tends to play around in these imbalances just a little bit. See, like, for example, here we had this wick come out of the imbalance, but it still respected the imbalance. So that's just the type of thing I had a stop loss set a little higher for, just in case the little wiggle room. Now, for my TP, I had this. I mentioned it earlier. I had this at the 15 minute point of liquidity down here, and then obviously my entry. Well, I just explained my entry. So yeah, and then we had price move pretty smoothly. And these, how long was it? It was like from 10 to like, I don't know, 20 something minutes, right? So we had price move pretty smoothly. We entered right there, like I said, and then price dump, 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 and then some type of low retracing, after this big dump. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's just is, and then yeah, move down slowly, slowly, slowly. We get edged, boom. We get edged, boom, and then we get mega edged. Like, look at this. Yeah, look at that mega edge. But yeah, then we end up hitting TP, and yeah, could have moved a little bit more the TP. Um, could have got a little more, but like I said, we're not trying to be greedy. I'm just sticking with what I know has been working for me. Like I said, I've moved up from what I would consider my TP. Like, I've been moving up, working with higher time frames, whatever. That's been working for me. Been feeling good with that. Just sticking with what it's mine. So yeah, and that's really just all for this trade recap for today. Um, yeah, it was pretty bearish looking today, at least in the morning. I had all like the confluence set up, had like the imbalances I needed to refill before we kept going, whatever. And then yeah, so that you know I would say we hit a pretty good area for TP, and then price just did whatever it wanted to do. So yeah, so that was trade recap for today, and so yeah, I'll see y'all boys in the next trade recap, maybe tomorrow. If we have a good day, we don't. Okay, we don't. No, okay, I cannot aim for my life, bruh. No, no. What? Is this on Friday? Oh, they're bugging. Bruh. I can't tab anything. Anyways, so yeah. I'll low-key see y'all boys Monday, probably. Yeah, it's probably not much more training for this week. Anyways, chill, I'll see y'all boys.